Hey guys, Rory here from Your Golf Travel. I hope you're all safe and well and the self-isolation is treating you fairly gently. Obviously, we're all kind of stuck indoors at the moment, not able to get to the golf course. All of us, I'd imagine, all of us golfers anyway, would be itching to get out onto the golf course as soon as we can. Obviously, we urge you to follow all the official guidelines at the moment. That involves staying in and not going to the golf course. But that is an opportunity to do a bit of practice, whether it's indoors or out in your garden. And I was chatting to Mark Crossfield and Coach Lockey the other day. Believe it or not, we haven't had any big falling out, despite what a lot of people on the internet seem to think. And Mark was very animated and excited about having found a new feeling for his chipping, because like me, speaking of me, my short game is, as you guys all know, absolutely terrible.
That was a foot!
This will make it better.
This is not going on.
Told ya!
As well with Ray. Oh, shit! As well with Ray. Oh, shit! That hit Matt's ball! That was a shank!
Mark's had regressed from a point when he was younger, when it was really part of one of the best parts of his games, to the point where he wasn't overly confident with his short game either. Not quite as drastically bad as I was, but he certainly wasn't happy with it, and he was very excited about having found a new feeling which had brought strike back into his life with his chipping. So let's just jump on a quick call with the guys and talk to Mark about some of the feelings that he did, the things that you guys can practice indoor to maybe get a little bit more consistency in a short game, so that when it's time to head back to the golf course, we're all kind of up and downing from everywhere. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
We spoke on the phone yesterday, despite the fact that you guys don't like me anymore.
It was tough, Ray.
I nearly silenced it.
I had to unblock you.
And Mark, you got quite excited. Obviously we're stuck inside, and you found something, haven't you, inside?
I'm having a chipping, like, yeah, what do you call it?
Renaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's flashbacks to when I was a kid, and because I, believe it or not, chipping actually was my strongest part. Chipping and putting and then hitting it straight was everything my game was built around. So it is heartbreaking to see something that I never had to think about, chipping, have to now be thought about. So I don't have to think about my putting, and that kind of stays somewhere, and I don't have to think too much about my driving, and that's just stayed. Bearing in mind I don't really practice at all. But my chipping's just like gone. It's just gone. No, if you don't practice me, I'm going to be rubbish.
I'm leaving.
That's quite heartbreaking. So finding a feeling that's making me feel like I did when I was a kid again, as in the feeling of being able to hit different heights, different spins, different strikes to make it, like, rather than just thinking about strike at the moment is amazing. But remember, there's always this false security when you do this as well, because from these lies, it can be quite flattering sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to get
out on the grass, and it's like, oh god, I feel like I'm going to change. But you want to know what the secret sauce is, don't you?
I would like to know what the feeling is.
Because he wants some of my secret sauce.
Because my short game's pretty good, but it could be better.
I think that I started the secret sauce.
Yes, you did. Tell us how you started the secret sauce, Matthew.
Well, we were in our new studio.
Yeah.
That's lovely, by the way, everyone.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you, Foresight. And we were chipping off the really tight carpet, weren't we?
Where strike has to be nippy, doesn't it?
Proper nippy, and perfect. And you were like dumping it before the ball, fats, like thins, horrible. Put a ruler behind you.
Yeah.
Started to miss the ruler, started to nip it, and you had to adjust your body to allow you to do it, didn't you?
Yeah. So
and that's the start.
Yeah, so basically just making sure all concentration was on low point being ahead of the ball. Because I'm a dumper, I dump it early. So like Matt says, fats or fins, because I get low, don't hit the ground, come up, fin it, or I just dump it in the ground early, fat it, and it's a horrible shot.
That sounds
moving
familiar.
that low point, moving that low point forward. So for me, it's all right arm. I'm trying to feel like my right arm gets across me on the way through far more than normal. So normally I would be thinking about going back here and then just hoping I hit it, and that was literally just dropping the club down into the ground. But feeling like, it's like in my head, so this is what I kind of feel, it's like my right arm is literally coming from underneath me. Like, to exaggerate, it's like I'm kind of like, here is the feeling it gives me. And that seems to be really pushing low point forwards without me having to think about pushing low point forwards. Like, that's the trigger. And then in turn, because my strike's improving, so there's more good strikes than there is bad strikes, I'm then able to start like really picking up the speed. Because what's one of the standout things with my chipping, even when I do strike it, Matt? Do I hit it past or do I hit it short?
Short.
Always short, because as you probably know, Ray, as soon as your confidence goes, fats and fins, the fin you dread because it's like goes 20 yards when you're trying to hit it 5 or 6 yards. So you start taking speed out because you get scared. Like, so even when I'm hitting decent chips, speeds come out. But what I've noticed in the last couple of days is I'm actually starting to put speed back in, which is giving me that really like low launching spinny one that I've never really had the confidence to practice for the last probably 5 years almost, because I'm just so scared of putting that speed in. So yeah, Matt making sure I'm concentrating on pushing that low point forwards, and then me using his thoughts and me developing my own.
Yeah.
And that's what I always say with my students. Like, I don't care what you think. Like, just here's the information. Go away and work it out a bit. Like, I can give you tips. So I say, try this, try that, try this. But the chances of me hitting that tip for every different person is so slim. Like the ones who would come back and speak like I'm speaking now, I tried doing this and that didn't work. But then when I did this, it did. I love that.
Self-discovery.
And I think this student will find the answer because they're looking. But I read a book for information. I don't read it for it to just tell me what it is. I read it for it to tell me what it is so I can then form my opinions. That's how my brain always tries to think. And I think for people trying to learn, it's the same thing. Here's a chipping idea. Go and try it. But if you understand the premise of what I'm saying, get the ground in front of the ball, you could do it in 100 different ways. You could move your ball position. You could move your shafting. You could change how you tilt. You could move your right arm more. It might be your left arm. Might be your right elbow. Might be your right wrist. Yeah. It's about that self-discovery, I always think. Don't you, Matt?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just giving the student the basics, and then for them to go away and try one of those, or a mixture of two things, or a mixture of even 3 or 4. And then coming back and saying, this works, that doesn't, like, this is where we now need to go forward from. And you obviously were good when you were younger, and finding a feeling from back in the day, winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Interesting, lads. Well, I've got a fair amount of time to work on my chipping over the next few weeks, so be careful next time we're all able to get out of the golf course. Yeah.
Get your passport, Ray, if you haven't lost it.
Oh.
Put the ball in front, let's say like a few inches in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then try and chip without losing your passport again.
My Irish passport, which is now really, really good.
But that's what I mean. You'll find your feeling. Mine's X. You'll find your Y, and then hopefully you'll, find a feeling that you can take out onto the golf course when we're allowed out again.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to pack up the camera and maybe go and do some chipping. Try not to break any TVs or mirrors or.
Part of the process. You can talk that away without getting better.
Thin bullets indoors don't go down well, I don't think, with the old housemates. All right, boys.
Thanks,
thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
He went in. opposed to just dumping it down. Getting this across my chest, almost like I'm more this way, Ray. Getting a bit more speed in it as well.
Right guys, interesting to hear from Mark and Coach, specifically Mark, who is obviously very enthusiastic about a new feeling that he's found while he's been stuck inside working on his chipping. Obviously he's got the luxury of having a chipping on putting green in his back garden, lucky sod. But we can all do this kind of from the carpet or wherever you have space inside. Also interesting idea of using something like a passport or maybe a pen or a ruler, something with a low profile, to maybe help yourself manipulate that low point, work on your strike, because I mean strike's obviously king in all areas of golf, but specifically in the short game you're really not in the game at all if you're not striking it semi-consistently. Something I definitely need to work on, we all know that, we saw that at the start of the video, something that even a player as good as Mark has been working on, and as I said is really excited about the progress he's made while he's been stuck inside. So make sure while we're all stuck inside, get your passport out, maybe get a ruler out if you don't want to lose your passport like I did in the past. Maybe a really small pen, something like that, something with a really low profile, and move that low point around and try and figure out strike. It's a really simple idea, something we can all do at home while we're stuck inside. And even from just like 5 or 6 minutes worth of trying to chip a ball into a putt out, which I think is impossible, but you can kind of see in just that little space of time, the strike was definitely immediately getting better. I was missing the passport, I was nipping it quite nicely. I did use a cushion because I started to hit the old backboard a little bit too hard, and I started to get concerned about the TV as well. But if you've got a suitable space in your house where you can practice your chipping, definitely think about the old passport drill, or again anything else that you can use to manipulate that low point, and think about what Mark and Coach said in this video, because wouldn't it be great if we all went back to the golf course when all this blows over with strike more consistent in our chipping, and yeah, as I said at the start of the video, getting up and down from everywhere. Wouldn't that be lovely? Hopefully, if you're the kind of player like me, like Mark to a certain extent, who suffers with the duffs and the thins when you're chipping, this will be of some use. If not, and you're a great chipper, post some comments down below on what you're practicing while you're stuck indoors. Maybe it's your putting, maybe it's something else. What kind of drills are you working on to make sure that your game is in as good shape as possible when we're all able to get back to the golf course? Hopefully, again, this is some sort of form of entertainment, and hopefully it's kind of useful for you too. This has been homeschooled with me by Mark and Coach. Yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, post some comments down below, and hopefully I will see you guys soon.